Good evening, everybody. During this week's session, we talked about security. We touched on security, and we talked about ballards and magnometers, badges, and all that good stuff. And it led me to something that I once had to do, and it's called a defense in depth diagram. And the one you see here is super simplified, and that's because of the time constraints that we have for this particular assignments. We're 3 to 5 minutes. So I'm going to try to not super rush it, but and try to cover as much as I can within the time allotted. So a lot of the defense in depth diagrams, they can be done in different ways. The ones that we did had 6 layers. Layer one was policies, procedures, and awareness, and that's pretty straightforward, right? You have your tabletops, you have your procedures or standard operating procedures, guidelines, documentation for scenarios that happen. So that's your layer one. What are your policies? Are your policies in place? Are your policies updated? Have your policies been tested? So that's layer one, and that's how that is done. So you present this to your security team, and they look at it, and then they audit based on your defense in depth diagram, your layers. And this is just a visual representation when you have to talk to people that are not in the security field or they're not in the IT field. Your layer two is your physical layer or your physical security. And we talked about that in the class. We talked about Kensington logs, cabinet logs, access batches, security cameras, security guards, doors, uh, and restricted areas. This can all be physical aspects of your physical security. So you got your first layer, and now you got your second layer. You have the policies, and the policies tell you how to implement the second layer, the physical layer. Hmm. And the same can be said for all other layers with the policies and procedures and awareness for user training. Layer three is the network layer, and it's pretty self-explanatory. How many do you have? Modem, switches, routers, wireless access points, etc., etc. Your T1 connection or your fiber, where is it at? How many do you have? Uh, and you can combine, layer three and layer five with the application, saying like the firmware that you have. Like, let's say you're running firmware version 3.5 on a router or a switch, and all your switches are not running the same firmware. Then you could add that to your layer three. You can say layer three and five, and then it'll be understood that on this layer, for layer three and layer five, you have your switch, and this is the firmware that is running, and that can simplify things. Or you can list it all on the application layer. So layer four, servers. So how many servers do we have? Hey, we have Active Directory, we have an Exchange server, or an Office 365 server. I'll put Officer. Oh my goodness. Anyway, Office 365 server, which is that kind of like all in one. It has your Teams, your OneNote, all your um, and your Exchange on it. Or if you're running a Red Hat Linux or CentOS, or if you have Ubuntu running, then you list those kind of the servers and what they're doing. And again, layers 4 and 5 can be combined to let you know what application is running, like server 2008, server 20, Red Hat 16, or whatever the latest version is. That way you can simplify. Layer 5 is your application layer, and in the application layer, you cover everything. It could be your proprietary software, your legacy software. If you're running Power BI, Power BI. If your accounting is running QuickBooks, if there's some kind of HR software that's being used, Paylocity is one of them. Then you list all your applications down in the version numbers, and just to make sure everything's on the up and up, so your security team can look at this and say, okay, you know, um, this version this version that, or this legacy software, what are we doing to secure it? And layer six is your data, basically your SQL database or Power BI database. employee databases, um, anything that is data related, your data at rest, encryption, and how you're doing that. So that's basically a quick overview, or in a nutshell, of um, what we call a defense in depth diagram. Some companies might have you do it. You may participate in it. You may not participate on it. This is very, 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 very basic. I just wanted to get the idea. A lot of these things can have pictures of servers and access point and how they connect, like a network diagram can be incorporated into this, and you'll have it broken down and incorporated in how they connect to each other. So it could be very complex. Uh, I see that I'm clipping pretty hard. But anywho, that's everything I wanted to cover. I'm sorry that there's no demonstration for this time, and I actually had to resort to kind of a slide thing, but I hope we got something out of it. Thanks for your time, and good night.